What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in this video, we are coming at you with the episode 2 of the Lesson Time One Piece Treasure Cruise tutorial series. So this is a series where some of the content creators are going to be partnering up with Bandai Namco Entertainment to bring you guys a tutorial series helping all the beginners start their journey in One Piece Treasure Cruise. By this video's conclusion, you should be prepared to take on some of the story events, the clash, or even the arena bosses. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video. But before we jump into combat, we need to understand how a character is built in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Characters will have one of 5 different types in the game, and each type is categorized into a different color, so it's a lot easier to identify what typing your character is. And the character's icon displays their given type, so there's no miscommunication as to what type that character is. The 5 types in One Piece Treasure Cruise are Strength, Dex, Quick, Psi, and Int. In addition to these types, there are some characters in the game that are double characters, and they can swap to different typings throughout an adventure, which can be advantageous against quests with lots of enemy types. Additionally, there are other categorizations of characters, and these are known as classes. Now, there are 8 different classes in the game, and any one character can have a maximum of 2 classes on that character, and these classes include Fighter, Slasher, Striker, Shooter, Free Spirit, Cerebral, Powerhouse, and Driven. And these can be located on the character information screen. There are characters that can provide boosts to these classes, in particular with their captain ability or their special, so understanding what classes your crew contains will be very useful. Before starting an adventure, you'll be required to select a friend from your friends list or by finding a guest captain to assist in rounding out your crew. Ensure that you select a friend or a helper captain that can accommodate and amplify your crew's damage potential, and you can learn more about crew and team building in a future episode of the Lesson Time tutorial series, so make sure to stay tuned. Once you have confirmed your correct crew and you have selected a suitable friend or a helper captain, you can start your adventure. Once in an adventure, you should see a screen similar to this, where the bottom half of the screen is dedicated to displaying your characters you selected for your crew. Also visible is your crew's current and maximum HP, as well as the ship that has been selected for your crew. The top half of the screen shows your characters preparing to attack, as well as showing your current enemies that you will need to defeat in order to progress through the adventure. You can tap on individual enemies to ensure that your attacks land on a particular foe. Towards the top of the screen, you will find some useful menu options. The auto button allows the game to tap and play for you, however, special effects are not launched during this time. The menu can show helpful information about your current crew, as well as effects that may be active during this time. There's also a type chart, and this shows the type advantage law that One Piece Treasure Cruise follows, where strength, dex, and quick typings are all advantageous and disadvantageous to each other in a cycle, whereas psi and int typings are super effective against each other with no type disadvantage. And the final button here is the captain ability button, which displays the current active captain ability of your crew. Ensure the captain you have selected is suitable and synergizes with the rest of your crew. In order to attack an enemy using the characters on your crew, all you have to do is tap on the crewmate you wish to attack with on the bottom half of your screen. This initiates the combat phase where character-specific onomatopoeia will appear in a formation around the enemy. And depending on the accuracy of those taps, you can actually achieve 4 different types of attacks. So with very low accuracy, you'll achieve good, which will give you no additional damage. Slightly better accuracy will achieve a great, in which a chain multiplier is granted to your crew of plus 0.1 per great that you achieve. Once you have a perfect, you have achieved the perfect tap timing, which will give you a chain multiplier of plus 0.3 to your combat chain. However, if you miss the onomatopoeias altogether, you're going to achieve a miss, which will give you no additional damage and will actually reset your chain multiplier. So ensuring that you tap as many perfects as possible to gather a higher chain multiplier is key to enhancing the amount of damage that your crew can deal, and this can take practice as each character has a unique tap timing, which can make chaining perfects very difficult. Once an enemy has been defeated, the next character to attack will initiate combat with another enemy, and you can try to eliminate as many enemies as possible. These are just the bare bones basics of combat, but now let's take a deep dive into more complex strategies in One Piece Treasure Cruise combat. Let's discuss now how you can achieve even more damage in combat and are also essentials to ensuring success throughout the adventure. To deal more damage against all enemies, the most vital piece of information is the type advantage chart, ensuring that you attack enemies of certain types with the advantageous ones in your crew allows the enemies to be defeated at a more faster and more efficient manner. One component of combat that may seem confusing is the slots that appear next to your characters on the bottom half of your screen in combat. There are 7 different types of slots that can naturally appear on your crewmates, and these can include one of each of the 5 types of Strength, Dex, Quick, Psi, and Int. So if one of those type slots matches the same type as the character, it is classified as a matching slot and grants 2 times additional damage when they attack an enemy. So for example, you can have a strength slot on a strength character, providing them with double damage. Conversely, if a type slot on a character that is typically type disadvantageous to that character, it is treated as an unfavorable slot, which only grants 0.5 or half damage to that character. So for example, in that same example, if a strength character instead of a strength slot has a quick slot instead, then they're going to be getting a 0.5 times damage. Another type of slot is the recovery slot, or the RCV slot. By tapping a good or a great tap timing with a recovery slot on a character, you're actually able to recover some of your health back. And then the final slot is the TND, otherwise known as the tandem slot, and these are special slots that allow you to gain access to the tandem mechanic. Now we're not going to discuss that here today, but you may want to find out what these are all about for yourself in-game. But how can we guarantee these slots on our characters? Well, luckily we're able to launch specials throughout the adventure. By swiping up on a fully charged crewmate, you're able to launch their special, which can have a range of differing effects. Some characters can do different effects, such as changing the crew's slots, boosting the crew's attack, amplifying the effects of your slots, and various utility effects that make clearing enemies much easier. Launching your character's specials will be vital in allowing your crew to deal even more damage to enemies, granting a higher chance of success throughout the adventure. While combat seems relatively simple, the enemies that you face will be attempting to stop your progression by inflicting your crew with nasty debuffs or by having buffs of their own, which make taking them down even more difficult. Characters in One Piece Treasure Cruise have unique captain abilities and specials to assist in countering these enemy gimmicks. In this example, Clash Eneru had a % damage reduction active, which reduces the damage he takes by 50%, and in order for our damage to be inflicted as intended, we can use the special of Lady Alvida, the Genius Jester's partner, to remove up to 5 turns of the enemy's buff. At this point, we can now use all of our damage boosting effects to deal maximum damage to the enemy and secure victory. With all of this, you should now be prepared with all of the combat knowledge to take on any opposition, and make sure to stay up to date with the rest of the Lesson Time One Piece Treasure Cruise tutorial series by going down below in the video description to check out the other content creators that are taking part in this series. So thank you very much for watching the video today, and if you guys did go on to enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.